Welcome everybody to this week's BioReigns product call. Today it's kind of a continuation of last week's call talking about the reset. And what I really want to stress is the reset is using primarily two products, or as few as two products, I should say, the BioReigns Keto and the BioReigns Hydrate. So I want to really stress that the reset is just an option. And how you do the reset has many options. And I've always been a real, one size doesn't fit all. Well, that's kind of my theory. So I want you to keep that in mind as I talk about this. So all of the suggestions, including doing the reset, is really to enhance the benefits of the keto and the hydrate. When they were introduced, there was no reset. And, the two products on their own really help with a lot of things. So, especially for people of a certain age, which I include myself in, it becomes harder and harder to maintain your optimal weight, to overcome inflammation, to, yield off those chronic diseases that come from inflammation, which most, if not all, diseases are either caused by or exacerbated by. So that's what I love about this product line. There are things to really address inflammation, but the keto and the hydrate are really special, I think. And so let me just start with going over what those are. And if you don't know about the rapid cell technology, you might want to review that video if some of this doesn't make sense. But the ingredients in the BioReigns products that are using the rapid cell technology, bottom line, they're oil-soluble ingredients that are made water-soluble, so they don't have to go through the digestive system to be absorbed. And because of today's society, where we are subject to a lot of toxicity and stress, most, if not everybody's digestive system is compromised. And I say most everybody because even if you're eating perfectly and you meditate every day and you do all the right things, for instance, glyphosate, which is Roundup, is now found in our rain when they take rain samples. So even if you're eating organic, which means they can't use Roundup, it's coming down on our food sources and rain. So that's just one example of toxicity that we can't really get away from. So anyway, the keto primarily is designed to help us address blood sugar issues. So the rapid cell ingredients for that, and hold on, let me get my cheat sheet out so I don't miss the names of them, is the medium chain triglycerides and sorry, I just drew a blank. That one usually rolls off my tongue. MCT oil, which is extracted from coconut oil. And that's the fat that really helps us burn fat, bottom line. It also has gymnema leaf extract, berberine, and catastatin peptides. Peptides are kind of new to me, so I don't know that much about them, other than they do fabulous things. So stay tuned for that. I want to learn more about those. But the other two herbs really help us balance and block the absorption of carbs. So the keto, even if you're eating carbs in your diet, will help you to get into ketosis. And I'm not going to get into all the benefits of ketosis on this call. Again, there's other calls for that. But some of the highlights are, first of all, we're born in ketosis when we're drinking our mother's milk. And in ancient cultures, most cultures would go in and out of a ketogenic diet. So I also really subscribe to learning from our ancestors while also using the miracles of today's science and technology to biohack some things. But I do recommend that you consider a ketogenic diet on a rotation with a non-ketogenic diet. I don't think it's good to stay in a ketogenic diet all the time. So then the hydrate, when you are in ketosis, you do use up a lot of water and minerals. So the hydrate is designed to help keep you hydrated, obviously. It also has some mineral salts to keep you mineralized. That will also help to keep your digestive system motility going, because while you're doing the reset, that gives your digestive system a chance to both rest and purge, some things that may be in there. I'll just say that to keep this call kind of pleasant. And you can kind of adjust it, and I'll talk about that in a little while as well, to, have the effect that you want it to have. It also has some antioxidants, CoQ10 and resveratrol, to help with inflammation while you're on the detox. So the reset is a 60-hour fast, and you start it after dinner on the last day that you're eating. So let's say you start the reset Sunday night and you eat, or you finish eating at 7 o'clock. So that night after dinner, you'll have 1 serving of keto and up to 1 serving of hydrate. Some people mix them together. You can take the 1 scoop of keto with anywhere from a quarter to a full scoop of hydrate. The hydrate is really strong. I can only do like a quarter to a third in that combination. And drink that as quickly as you can, because you want to get the keto in quickly and have it start overcoming any carbs that may be circulating. And that'll start to nudge you into ketosis the first day. And typically it's difficult to get into ketosis. We're kind of like a hybrid car. To switch from gasoline to electricity, it's easy in a car, but in the human body, it's not so easy to switch from carb burning to fat burning. And typically people have to go through what's called the keto flu. It's, people get anything from headaches, diarrhea. It's an adjustment period. So this pretty much eliminates that adjustment period and gets you into ketosis much quicker. And then after you drink that, what I do is I just mix up a big batch of the hydrate, and I just make sure that I get a full serving at least on the other 2 days. But for that night, as long as you get a good portion, and you're okay. Then on so let's call that day 1. On days 2 and 3, basically that's all you're having for those 2 days is the keto and the hydrate. Between 1 and 2 servings of keto, which can be first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and then if you have a third in the middle of the day, and between 1 and 4 servings of hydrate. So, when you have a lot of salt, it will help to clean out the colon. So if you really want that colon purge, you want to, get at least the 2 servings, if not 3. I can't imagine doing 4. I did a little over 2, and I got the purge. So you might want to, on days 2 and 3, especially if you're not going to be home, start slowly. Maybe just do 1.5 the first day, 2 the second day, or I should say days 2 and 3, those would be. And then the final hours of the 60 hours is the next morning. So again, we started Sunday night at 7 p.m. You would break your fast Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Okay. I want to stop here and just see if that's clear. Does anybody have questions about that timing or how you do the reset? Okay, great. All right. So now I want to kind of talk about
Lisa, sorry.
Sure.
Did you say 1 to 3 servings of the keto and how much of the hydrate on days 2 and 3?
1 to 4.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So let's say you only do 1, because to me, it's so strong tasting and sweet. I really push to do 1.5 or 2. That's okay. You're still going to get that motility in the digestive system. And you can continue drinking it after the reset, and it'll continue to help you flush out. If you can only do 1 and you're not really getting that cleansing effect, there are other things you could add. So I'm fine with anybody reaching out to me with your situation, and I'm really good at helping to tweak and amend what you're doing. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. If, let's say you do it and you can only get through the 1 and you want to get more motility in the colon. So what I want to talk about, because this has been coming up a lot, is how to eat after. And again, you can do whatever you want. And if you only added these products and didn't do the reset and just had 1 or 2 keto servings a day, and 1 or 2 hydrate servings a day, you would still tend to lose weight. It's just not going to be as quickly. I like quick because when people get results quickly, they're excited and they stick to it better. So it's just an option, quick or slow, right? So let's talk a little bit about the traditional ketogenic diet. What most people do is they eat high fat, moderate protein, and low carbs. And when you're in ketosis, you do burn fat faster. But if you're giving yourself high fat, you're going to burn that fat before you go burn your stored fat. So I started a protocol, and let me share my screen, from a doctor for a lower fat, very low carb to start with, and unlimited protein. And I just love it. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And here's the book, End Your Carb Confusion, by Dr. Eric Westman. And it's a 3-phase program. So the first phase of it is extremely low carbs, 20 grams or less. And then phase 2 adds in some more carbs with some fruits and higher carb vegetables. And then phase 3 is even a little bit higher. So it is kind of regimented, but I want you to think of this kind of as like, if you broke your leg, you need a cast in the beginning to really be strict and not allow you to veer off the path. And what I find is that, or for me at least, and I just started this a while ago, I try everything on myself first and see how I like it before I share it with others. It really eliminated, and this was even before I did the reset, I was playing with this. It really helped to eliminate cravings and make it really easy for my meal planning. So I'm going to share this PowerPoint with you guys by email, but it's probably copyright infringement, so I don't want you to share it with anybody else. And I just wanted to do this for phase 1, so you guys could look at it before you buy the book if you want to, or even try it before it's not expensive. I think it was $18, but regardless, this is just about 11 slides that I put together for the phase 1 of this. So I'm gonna, let me put this on the right view. Okay. So like I said, you can have unlimited protein. Over here are my notes. Even though it says unlimited, I like limits. So I don't see any reason to consider eating as much protein as I want when I know a serving size is about the size of the palm of your hand, and you can't really metabolize much more protein than that in one meal anyway. So I put it up to 1.5 palm sizes if you're intermittent fasting. And again, that's another tip that will help. If you intermittent fast, it makes the process easier. It makes weight loss easier. You don't have to do it every day, but the more days you do it, the better your metabolism will be, the less inflammation you'll have, all kinds of benefits of intermittent fasting as well. So I put as a guideline, you can only metabolize about 30 grams of protein per meal, and the rest can turn to carbs. Though with using the keto, this isn't a big concern. But down the road, once you get to your ideal weight, you may only use the keto for times that you really go off of your plan, for instance. So if you're intermittent fasting, then you can, well, let me back up. The size of your palm, excluding your fingers, is about your protein serving size. So if you're intermittent fasting, you're going to do 1.5 times that palm size per meal. And if you're eating 3 meals a day, then, your palm size. Now, it's best not to snack in between meals. And if you, have some protein handy, if you really, really need to, that'll keep you from going to something that might be higher carbs. So hard-boiled eggs are great, slices of meat. If you're vegan, you could have some grilled tofu, something like that. So you can read this later at your leisure. This just gives you some examples of proteins that are good. And then there's some notes just regarding things to avoid, like processed meats like lunch meats can have sugar in them. So you want to read your labels for that. He also says, you can eat really fatty meats as much as you want. I would try to keep those to a little bit of a minimum too, at least while you're in the weight loss phase. This will just tell you some seafood that are higher in carbs, like oysters, clams, and mussels. So use them sparingly. Avoid imitation crab meat, typically made with starchy fillers. And then you can have up to 2 cups of leafy greens and salad vegetables a day. You want to measure them uncooked. If it's a leaf, you can eat it. And you even can include radishes and scallions and herbs in those 2 cups of green leafy vegetables. So again, if you're going to eat 2 meals a day, aim for 1 cup at each meal. Although, if you don't have greens in the morning or lunchtime, I say I don't have breakfast anymore. I have brunch, which seems kind of fancy to me. Every day I have brunch and dinner. So even if I have like eggs for breakfast, I'll saute some spinach and garlic, something like that for my 1 cup. And then you can have up to 1 cup per day of these vegetables that are listed here, which are your lower carb vegetables. So again, if you have 2 meals a day, shoot for 1/2 cup at each meal. If you have 3, 1/3 cup. And then this goes through other foods. You can have up to 4 ounces of cheese per day. And it talks about what cheeses are good and what to avoid, like cottage cheese and ricotta. Up to 2 tablespoons of other dairy, like butter, ghee, cream, sour cream. They didn't put yogurt here, but I include yogurt here. I haven't seen that you can't do yogurt. Up to 2 tablespoons per day of oils or oil-based salad dressings, up to 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, up to 1/2 of an avocado, and up to 6 olives per day. All right, why won't you go forward? Oh, now it goes 2, okay. Up to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, up to 2 pickles, dill or sugar-free always. Now I recommend you get real pickles, and a real pickle is one that's fermented, not boiled in vinegar and salt. So that's your first clue. If it says vinegar, it's not a real pickle or fermented pickle. And a real pickle would be in the refrigerator section of your grocery store. Then they have some 0 carb snacks that you can have unlimited, 0 carb beverages, herbs and spices, other flavorings, hot sauce, mustard, salad dressing, salsa. These are some things that you want to read some of the notes there, but those are good things to add to make your meals interesting. And here's some substitution ideas. And this is a tracker that I put together that I'll send to you guys too. So what I do is I print this up at the beginning of the week, and I just do tick marks as I go through this. So let's say Monday morning, I have 3 fried eggs and a cup of spinach sauteed with a little bit of garlic and a little bit of olive oil. So, or actually not olive oil, I don't saute in olive oil, and avocado oil maybe. So I would just put a 1 here. Oops. Sorry. So I know that the measurements in cups, because that's what it says here. So I'll put a 1 here. And the garlic or onions would be a low carb veggie. So I'll put, if it's 1/4 cup, I'll just put 1/4 here. So by the end of the day, you just don't want to be over any of these numbers. And I could never get through all of this food in a day. This is a maximum, but you don't want to try to cram that in your diet. Just eat up to each of those foods in each category. I do recommend you get a little scale because for things like the cheese, you want to weigh it. Or, you know, you can take a 12-ounce block of cheese and cut it up into 12 different blocks. And then, you know, each one's an ounce, for instance. For those of you that don't know, I came across a few people that didn't know this. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. So it's easier for me to break it down into teaspoons because, again, if I saute some onions and spinach, I'm going to use a teaspoon. So I'll just put a 1 tick mark by oil for that, etc. So, you know, same with lemon juice. If I make a salad, well, lemon juice, I typically make a salad dressing with lemon juice and oil. So I might do a tablespoon, but I might just squeeze a little bit of lemon on something else. I'm going to do it. I'm going to measure it by the teaspoon. If I use a tablespoon, I'll just put the 3 tick marks there, etc. So olives, by the way, are another good snack. If you just have to have something, they're very satiating, just enough fat and fiber to you know, make you get past that. So that's another good snack tip. So does anybody have any questions about that? Excellent. So this book was really written for, you know, both losing weight, but also getting past other degenerative diseases from, I don't want to speak to type 1 diabetes. I really think that's something that should be addressed with a doctor. But for type 2 diabetes or joint pain, arthritis, any of your autoimmune diseases, except for type 1 diabetes, this would be very helpful for people, either with or without the BioReigns products. So I really love doing them together. And what I noticed was before doing the reset, I could stick to this pretty well, but I went off my program quite a bit, pretty frequent. Well, not frequently, because I was only doing it for a couple of months, but I stuck to it pretty easily, but not perfectly. Since I've been doing the BioReigns, it's very, very easy to stick to. So for most people, you could do this for like a month. It really helps to retrain your taste buds, retrain your cravings, get to your optimal weight loss, and then you could go to phase 2 and maybe phase 3. Phase 2 is where you really want to live. It adds in some fruit and you know, mostly your lower carb fruits like berries. And then you could go to phase 3 periodically, maybe for, you know, special occasions, things like that. So I'll leave the other 2 phases for you if you want to research it for yourself. But like I said, I don't recommend anybody stays in ketosis indefinitely. And I spoke about this a little bit last week too, but our ancestors did something called diet variation. They did it by necessity because they didn't have a grocery store where they could go get a fresh orange 365 days a year, right? In the winter, they had access to more proteins, and in the summer, more fruits, and in the fall and winter, some starchy vegetables, or let's say more starchy vegetables in the fall, more greens in the spring. So they live diet variation by necessity, but it does have a lot of health benefits. And you can do that in many different ways. You can, you know, after you get to either your ideal weight or you're getting close, you could do ketosis for 3 weeks a month and then a higher healthy carb week. And I recommend incorporating fasting in that as well. You can do it by the week. There's a protocol called 5-1-1 where you eat in ketosis 5 days a week. You have higher healthy carbs on that 6th day, and then you fast the 7th day. So there's a lot of ways you can work it into whatever works best for you. And even if you just incorporate this a few days a week, it will also help you to get the benefits of ketosis if it's not something that's in flow for a lifestyle for you. So with that, any questions up to this point? All right, then I'd like to use the rest of the call just for you guys to first ask any questions you have about the reset, the keto, and the hydrate products. And then if there aren't, you know, questions for that for the full hour, which I do have a call right at 12, so we'll end it right a few minutes before, then any other BioReigns questions. No questions? You're all muted, so if anybody wants to ask a question, you'll need to unmute yourselves.
My question is more about the other products. Like if we do the keto and hydrate together and whatever works well with that, how do all the other products, do any of them enhance it? Are they just kind of, do they just go alongside it? You know, one of the things that I think I struggle with, of course, are cravings. I crave chocolate. I love dark chocolate, but
Right.
not in moderation. And so do any of those enhance any of this?
Both the lean and the limitless can help with cravings, but they do both have caffeine. So,
Yes, and you
bring
know how
Andy, we're working on her sleep first. So she's had kind of up and down results with the sleep product. So we're still trying to find her right dose. But once we get you there for everybody else that can tolerate caffeine, they can both help with cravings. I'm the same way. If I start a bar of chocolate, you know, I might eat half of the bar. And that's another thing that Dr. Westman, I think his name's Westman, mentions in the book, is that's why there's no fruit, and there's fruit and a couple of other things that he eliminated from phase 1 when you're in the cast on your leg portion, because those are things that once you get started, they're a slippery slope. And that's also why I would not, you know, try to eliminate the chocolate. And anything you do for 21 days can create a new habit. So even if you don't do it for a full month, let's say 21 days would be the minimum. But personally, I found that just the keto and the hydrate help with my cravings, and the lean and the limitless can help even more. But any of the products can be incorporated during the reset if you want to.
Okay, with the keto and the hydrate, the keto tells you to mix it in the beverage of your choice. I believe that's what it says on the packaging. And I know I have found mixing it with almond milk really helps. But once I do that, I feel incredibly bloated. Is that unusual?
If you're doing the reset, you don't want to use the almond milk.
Okay.
Okay, it's
What do
pretty
you use?
flavorless. So you can just do it with water or black coffee. And it has a real creamy texture in the coffee. Now, again, there's caffeine, but you could also use decaf coffee. I mix it in decaf coffee and I love it with some monk fruit. Any of the sweeteners that are sugar alcohol are going to add some extra carbs. I was using xylitol, and then he said that you've got to count those as carbs. So I went to just the straight monk fruit and got some drops of monk fruit. But so I didn't really talk about using the product for maintenance. If let's say you do the reset and you still want to lose weight, then you can do still the 1 or 2 scoops of keto a day, first thing in the morning after your last meal during the day, to continue that fat burning process. And that's why I like this diet to really accelerate the weight loss in between as well. And then again, just drink the hydrate in your water throughout the day. All right, any other questions? You guys are so easy today. How about any other BioReigns or non-BioReigns health questions or topics you want to talk about or learn about, even if it's suggestions for future calls? All right, then I'm going to talk about toxic.
Yeah, it's me again.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I was waiting for somebody else to speak. What's the difference between sleep and just the regular, the other one that you and I are talking about, the Daily Plus? Because mixing the two, I'm like, okay, where am I going to lie? What are my needs going to be? And how do I know what the difference is between
what your sweet spot is?
Yes.
Well, the Daily Plus has, I have to think because there's so many combinations, has the curcumin and the CBD full spectrum. So all of our CBD products have either full spectrum or broad spectrum. Full spectrum means it has a trace of THC. And every cell in our body has what are called endocannabinoid receptors. So you want to think of CBD kind of as an adaptogen. It can help anything and everything. So I can't really speak to exactly how that's going to help each individual person. It's really going to go to what you need, if that makes sense. And then curcumin is just a very effective anti-inflammatory. So the sleep already has CBD. It does have the broad spectrum. When I said all the CBD products, you have a choice of broad or full. That's just the straight CBD, which we have pure CBD or CBD plus. Daily CBD, which means it comes with curcumin. And then each of those come as regular, which is no THC, or plus, which means it will have the trace of THC, which is under 0.3%, which is what's allowed in the United States. So the sleep has curcumin and CBD, along with the peptides and the couple of herbs, I think. Let me get my cheat sheet back out. Delta sleep inducing peptides and CBN, which I also don't know that much about, but it's another component of hemp. And magnolia bark. The magnolia bark is not in the rapid cell technology. So I'm kind of using you as a guinea pig after I use myself as a guinea pig, because one, squeeze of the dropper for the sleep made me sleep pretty good. I mean, it made me sleep way better than I was. Even though I thought I was sleeping good, I noticed I slept even better with it. But I wanted to sleep even deeper, so I added a little bit more of the sleep, and I woke up groggy. So I went back to the one squeeze of the dropper and then added in some CBD, and that really made me sleep perfectly. So my theory is, and you're testing it now as well, is that the magnolia bark and perhaps the sleep inducing peptides, you really want to stay at a level. If you go above that, you're going to be too groggy in the morning, which is what happened with you. But the extra CBD and extra curcumin could help you sleep better.
Okay.
So how did it go last night, or this morning rather?
Well, the last 2 nights it went well. The last prior 2 nights it went well. Last night I tried to cut down the sleep that a little bit and the CBD, and I did not sleep very well. I slept, but not very well. And mind you, the rest of you that are listening, I really have insomnia where my mind just does not stop racing. So this has helped considerably, giving me, I'm actually dreaming, which is amazing, and dreaming in color.
Same
So,
here. Yeah, my dreams
yeah.
really enhanced. So why did you cut it back if the other 2 nights were good?
I guess I just thought,
That's
well, maybe I should try, because you and I had talked and you said, well, maybe add a little more of the CBD plus.
right.
And so it was just trying to find that balance. And that,
Okay.
which is another question. I don't know if anybody else has this, but measuring the droppers, is it better to put it in a spoon, to drop it into a spoon, or in the palm of your hand to know exactly how many drops you're getting?
Well, you definitely don't want to put it in the palm of your hand. You want to, put it right in your mouth from either the
Okay.
dropper or the spoon. But
Because I
yeah,
can
when
never
you get,
tell. I can never tell how many drops are coming off the little one, the little trial size CBD that I have, the travel size CBD that I have.
yeah.
Daily
Yeah,
Plus.
when I put the drops under my tongue, I can feel them. My husband can't.
Okay.
So I guess it depends on your under your tongue sensitivity. I guess that varies for people. You might need to do it in front of a mirror or in a spoon.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you.
Because
That
you want
helps.
it under your tongue, it seems to me that it'd be kind of hard to put in a spoon and then drip under your tongue.
It is. It's very difficult. I've tried
So
it.
maybe get a small mirror to keep by your bed if that's where you're using it, or go in the bathroom and just watch how many drops you're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're a work in progress, but I'm glad to hear that the other 2 nights were good. So we're getting there. And then I think, if you continue that and make sure it's consistent for 3 or 4 days, then we can move on to to what else you want to accomplish. All right, any other questions? Just checking the time. Oh, we have another 20 minutes or so. All right, then let's talk about toxicity, because one of the impediments to losing weight is toxicity. Our body likes to keep toxins out of our organs, and to do that, it'll hold on to fat to try to absorb those toxins. Our colons and our liver and our gallbladder can only process so much toxicity at a time. So if your toxicity level is higher than it can process, it's going to go store them in fat. And some of them are going to be stored in your organs, depending on your toxicity levels. So if you or anybody you know of is having trouble losing weight, and even the reset is going slow, they probably have a toxicity issue. I do have a questionnaire. It's an online form that you score different symptoms of toxicity that is broken down into categories of types of toxicity, whether it's heavy metals or biotoxins or general, which is more chemical. So it'll give people an idea of what their toxicity levels are. It's free. I do a complimentary consultation with it. I'm a detox practitioner. So if you or anybody that you share this with wants to do that first, it can only enhance their results. Again, just fasting helps process toxins out of the body. So the reset will help, but sometimes we need a little bit more of a nudge, especially if somebody has really high toxicity. I have a couple of other tests that they can take as well if they want, even a little bit more insight into their toxin levels that are still pretty inexpensive. So feel free to reach out to me if you want more information on that. Also, when you clear toxins from your body, they're processed through your liver, and then we excrete toxins a couple of ways: through our breath, through sweat, through urine, but most of it is excreted in our colon through the feces. And the amount of toxins that are dumped from our body can only be carried out of the colon if there's something for it to attach to, primarily fiber. And because our toxicity levels tend to be pretty high in this environment, and our fiber levels tend to be pretty low, sometimes the amount that gets dumped does not leave the body, and then it does what we call retox. It's just absorbed back into the body. So we don't want that. So I do recommend people take something called binders. So if you're not familiar with that, again, reach out to me privately, because there's a couple of different options. Some that I carry, some that I carry people don't like, so I can make other recommendations. There's another detox practitioner I found out about recently that does some tests to find out exactly what binders would be best for you. So, of course, it costs a little bit more money, but if anybody wants a customized binder made for you, there's that option as well. So I don't know why, but ever since I was a teenager, I was always fascinated with toxins and, or not with them, but getting rid of them. And maybe because I had a history of breast cancer in my family, which turned out to be, BRCA1 positive history, which I have as well. So now, of course, I'm even more alerted to the fact that I need to detox, which is what made me become a detox practitioner. In addition to I was already an energy healer and have always been fascinated with nutrition and things like that. So over the years, I've amassed a lot of good resources to share with you guys if you want to go into that depth as well. All right, it's Monday, guys. Let's bring up the energy. Who's got a question? No more for you yet, Andy. Somebody else ask one. Go, Sandy.
You mentioned this questionnaire and information about binders. Is this something we need to reach out to you, or will you put it in an email?
Yeah, I want you to reach out to me, and what you can do is just send me an email and put, I have 3 different tests. I always have to think of the acronyms for each one. NTQ, or neurotoxic questionnaire, and the subject. You can just put that in the subject and then I'll know to send it to you. I like to do that first before we do anything else, because that'll give us a, an indication of, do you want more testing if your numbers are high, or do you just want a generic, or, whatever the case may be. Some people are super sensitive, so I just send them a couple of samples of what I carry for them to try first. So yeah, I like to do that kind of individualized. Okay, Andy, you're up again. Oh, you're waving at somebody else. All right, anything else on that, Sandy? All right, any other questions? Well, how about Sandy? I know you're doing the reset. Do you have any results to report yet, or?
Not yet.
Okay.
And I think I'm loving the keto though, mainly because it has no taste. So it's very easy to do. I'm struggling with the hydrate. I really am.
Yes.
I haven't quite figured that out yet.
Okay. How much are you using? Are you able to use at this point, I should say?
Very little.
Okay. I know you had another electrolyte drink. Do you like that one better?
Yeah. In fact, I just ordered some more of that.
Okay. So you could even mix them, maybe add as much, hydrate as you can tolerate, and then add a little bit of that and combine them. Fulvic acid is good too as an electrolyte that doesn't have flavor. So that's what I'm using in addition to the hydrate. And I'm still able to do a scoop of hydrate. And I'm starting to like the flavor more and more. So you might get used to it a little bit more over time. So, when you want to compare this to other electrolytes, it's giving you the benefit of the CoQ10 and the, what else did I say? I'll have all these memorized one day, guys. And resveratrol. But, you could take other antioxidants to fill that gap too. They're not going to be as well absorbed as those, but, whatever you can do to get the benefits.
Could I ask Sandy, what was it about the hydrate you didn't like? Because I really liked it, and maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I'm just taking a full scoop, and I've got one big, huge jug of water, and through the course of the day, well, in the course of several hours, I'm just trying to drink that down.
Basically,
am I doing it wrong?
No, you're doing it. You're doing it right. She just doesn't like the flavor at all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did you try the lime oil or lemon oil in it? When I put a drop of lime oil in it, but lime oil isn't as easy to get a hold of. Lemon is good too. It really makes the flavor much better for me.
Can you use fresh lemon, or does it have to be lemon oil?
I would not, because there's carbs in that. You really want to eliminate the carbs during the reset. It's not critical if that's really, what would do it for you. But one of the benefits of fasting is that you starve any excess pathogens. And if they have the littlest bit of carbs, you're not going to starve them, because you might reduce the numbers, but you'll leave that little colony that just has to go reproduce as soon as you're done. So you want to,
yeah, it's probably better than eating chocolate chip cookies though.
Exactly. So everything's on a, what's it called? A range of how good or bad it is. I'd say if the lemon juice really helped you, it'd be worth it, but I would try the oil first if you can. Now, not all oils are edible or therapeutic, so you want to make sure that you're getting one that is approved to be consumed. Go ahead, Joyce.
My question is, I have to mix it with a large amount of water, and it's okay as long as I'm still taking in that one scoop, no matter how hydrated or diluted.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
And if you find that you're having a struggle, like with energy or brain function, because that salt in that is very helpful, you could just mix a little bit of salt and some water and drink it as well. I recommend Himalayan salt.
Okay.
So especially if you're falling at or below the 1 scoop a day during the reset, you might just need some extra salt.
I also want to tell everybody that it's not just for weight loss, it's for reverse aging, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Helps in that. These ingredients are so good for that part of it too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, good point. All right, any other questions? So Earl, did we totally confuse you or?
Gail or Earl, you have to unmute if you have something to say, because you're muted right now.
That's okay. We'll ask later. Sandy, do you know if he got a chance to see last week's video or not?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
And, but if you, again, remind me where to find it, I'll make sure I send it to him.
Okay, yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, which I think I called Natural Body Balance, but I don't even remember. But I'll send out an email later today with this recording. I'll put all 3. I've done 3 calls so far. So I'll put a link to all 3, although you could probably get to all of them from one of the links, you know how YouTube works, but just in case. Because I'm finally getting on YouTube with this, but and I haven't used it much in the past. Did you want to say something else? Oh, okay.
Good. Thank you for all you're doing.
Absolutely. My pleasure. All right, guys.
Education is the key. Education is the key.
Yes, yes. And I really want this call. As you can tell, I'm losing my voice this morning. I don't know what's going on. Although I didn't drink my hydrate until just a little while ago. I'm a little dehydrated, I think. I didn't start early enough this morning. I do want this call to really evolve into all health topics, not just BioReigns, but I know that so many people are starting the reset right now that I wanted to start with that. But it'll really branch off into a lot of topics, exercise, you know, all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned for more detox information, etc. So I'm glad you.
If we're not doing the reset per se and eating the keto, it's just good to do the hydrate, just good to do it daily.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I forgot the numbers, but something like 80% of Americans are dehydrated. And we don't have a great source of minerals or salts. So it is a good daily supplement as well.
So if you do it daily, Lisa, would you only use one scoop one time a day, or would you do it twice
Yeah.
a day?
I would use 1.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I may change that later as I learn more, but yeah, I think 1 a day is a good dose. Let me see what it says on the bag. Yeah, it does say a serving is 1 scoop and there's 30 scoops in a bag. And in case you didn't hear, the conference that was supposed to be at the end of this month has been canceled, which stinks for me because I was going, but it's good news for everybody else. They were going to launch a new product, so they're still going to have a product launch that weekend, but then do a virtual conference the end of October, so everybody can attend. So tonight is their corporate update. I'll update you if you're not on it. You know, I know some of you are interested in doing the business, some not. So obviously you may not want to be on it if you're just product users, but it will be recorded as well. So jump on if you can. I did put the information to get on that call on the email that I sent out last night for today. So you can go grab that if you didn't see it, if you want to get on the call. So unless there's any other questions, we'll end a little bit early, and feel free to reach out to me either for the detox questionnaire or any other questions, and have a great Monday.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Lisa.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.